Welcome to the Building on Purpose TubeCast, where contractors share how they build with intention, purpose, and impact. And well, Marty,
all right, what do we want to do?
my brother, we're already in it, man. You're in the green room. We're already talking. So
All right,
this is a very laid back, we call it a TubeCast.
sure.
It's a podcast, but nope. You and I are old enough to know what a podcast is.
Right.
This is back when we didn't have like YouTube doing this video stuff. We would literally take the iPod and we would listen to podcasts when we were out doing stuff on the site.
Yeah.
People don't know where podcast came from. So
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, well, I want to build something different. The TubeCast is called Building on Purpose. And of course,
Yep.
it'll make sense once we get into the few questions to learn about what you do and why. But we call it a TubeCast because we host them up on YouTube. And then, of course, we share them to our community. We share it inside the community at Improvifi through our school. And then,
Yeah.
of course, externally, and the TubeCasts are being watched, and contractors are listening and learning from people like you
Yeah.
on impactful things that you've done in your business. So, man, brother, you and I go way back.
Sure. Been a lot of years now.
So I was at Limitless Society speaking on Saturday on business lending because we have a business lending company called Purple Apple Loans.
Mhm.
And guess who walks in? Sean Whalen.
Oh, yeah?
So Sean was there and I pulled him aside. I said, dude, Sean, I remember meeting you at Apex. Well, back then it was, oh gosh.
Yeah, neither one of us can think of the name.
Break Free
Academy.
Break Free
yeah.
Academy. And you
Yep.
and I sat next to each other with our
Yep.
bald, beautiful heads.
Sure.
And I think he was one of the speakers at
I
that
think so.
event.
You're right.
So I showed him a picture. He's like, oh my God. He's like, way back. Now, Sean was puffier and he had a bigger beard and he's
Yeah.
super ripped now and stuff. But we were kind of chatting it up in the back of the room, talking about old times and stuff. So you and I go back to that event, and it's been a blessing working with you ever since. I mean, there's been times that we've worked together, and then there's been times that I've hooked you up with lenders
Yep.
that I didn't work at anymore, and you still had great success. So I wanted to bring Marty. I wanted you to come on here and kind of share the story for Denver Patio Masters.
Yeah.
And because I think it's super unique. Now you don't know this, but I take the story that you told Corey and I at dinner and tell people a lot. And it's the story of you came into the office and you saw a tall stack,
Sure.
and then you saw a short stack.
Yep.
To make the long story short, I think what I got on the story was the short stack was the patios, and the tall stack was the stuff that was super complicated.
Sure. Kitchens, baths, basements. Yeah.
So
Sure.
I share the story and help contractors, and I just shared it this morning, that sometimes when you get hyper focused on an asset class in what you do, your profitabilities can, because you're just so focused on the one thing. So why don't we start off with this and tell a little bit folks about Denver Patio Masters and whatever you'd like to share about kind of like what y'all do and how you got there, man.
Sure. Well, as you kind of alluded to, so, once upon a time, my work history, college, I worked for a software company. I got out of that. I got into the lending, the consumer loan business. I don't know if you remember the names Beneficial Finance.
Sure do.
HSBC.
I worked for HSBC.
What's that?
I worked for HSBC.
Oh, you're kidding me. I don't think I ever knew that. Really?
Hong Kong, Shanghai Banking
Corporation. Yeah.
Or because they were headquartered in Buffalo, holy shit, Buffalo's cold. HSBC.
I never heard that. But yeah, so I got into the lending business. I went from there to mortgages.
Yep.
And then worked my way up to the director of retail lending for one of the largest subprime lenders in the country, a company called Novastar. And then 2008 happened. and literally there was no, I mean, you know how that business works, right? You lend out all your money and then you turn around, you sell that book of business to Wall Street, right? For a premium. Well, we lent out $400 million. We turned around and all the lights were off and the doors were locked. And so,
I was right. I was right there with you. You and I ran parallel lives.
Yeah.
I ran the construction to permanent lending division for 18 years with different lenders. And then I retired from mortgages in 2008, 2009 as well.
Oh, gosh. Well, yeah, right. Somewhat of a forced retirement.
Yeah, you got it.
So I ran away to Mexico for a couple of years and drowned my sorrow on the beach in Cabo San Lucas. And then when I ran out of money, I came back and I needed to get back. I was
Yeah.
married. I didn't have kids, thank God. But
Yeah. Yeah.
my wife and I've been together 25 years at this point. Um, I needed to get back into that earnings category.
Yeah. Sure.
And
Yeah.
a buddy of mine said, I know guys in the home improvement business doing great.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, okay. So I looked into that. I got into the business. Sales rep, sales manager, general manager, struck out on my own. I moved to Denver and
Yeah.
I opened up a company with a partner. And
Okay.
we were a full service general contractor.
Right.
And we were too successful
Yeah.
for our own good.
Yeah.
Neither one of us we were selling 15 or 20 kitchens, baths, and basements a month.
But could you keep up with it or no?
No, no, we were selling, $7 million in projects. We were getting 3.5 million built.
I mean, were you subbing it out or did you have a team?
No, all subs. So we had 22 crews, 22 subcontracted crews. Neither one of us neither one of us had the skill set to manage that complicated production.
And then to be able to have quality control to what you were selling.
We were working so hard and making no money because of that, right?
Yeah.
And so one day, as you're aware, I got a phone call from a client who said, "Hey, we hired you guys to build us a patio like 8 weeks ago. We haven't heard anything." Wow. And I'm like, "What?"
You're like, wait, we do patios.
Yeah, right. Right. And,
you're like, hold on. I thought we just did kitchens and baths.
Well, a side note, at one point, we were struggling. So I reached out for help through Apex, looking for somebody who was familiar with that sort of, basically the request I made was, hey, is anybody in here a high volume kitchen and bath builder? Okay. And can you help me with some, streamline our production? And I got responses like, yeah, we do like, 12 a year.
All right.
And I'm like, we're selling 15 or 20 a month. Yeah, 12 a year ain't gonna help me, And you remember, Chris Whitehead, right?
Yeah.
So thank God, Chris Whitehead reached out, and he and I had a good long talk. What a nice guy! What a great guy! And he gave me a 99-page spreadsheet that he had built over 10 or 15 years with everything that you could miss in a kitchen or bath or whole home remodel. Right. And I said, "There's no way." My eyes rolled into the back of my head.
Yeah.
And I just thought, what are we going to do? Well, I got that phone call and I'm like, well, how, I look over here, there's this little stack of folders for things like patios, over here. And then there's this big stack of folders over here for kitchens, baths, basements, room additions, decks. And I thought, why the hell aren't we building these patios like this? We can get in, we can get out. We don't have a bunch of overhead associated with them. I don't own anything. I don't have to order, cabinets and counters and trim and molding and tile and appliances. I don't own anything.
Yeah.
We put it under contract and then we show up. Basically the day we show up is when I got to order concrete. I mean, I thought, what the hell's going on? And that planted the seed.
Yeah.
That, maybe I could run that as a standalone business. Yep. Because my partner and I, when we joined together, he was going to handle, I was handling marketing and sales because that's what I know. Right. He was handling production and admin. But the reality was he didn't have the skill set for that sort of high volume of production. And I sure as heck didn't. So I thought these patio projects have so many fewer moving parts.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could make that a standalone business. So in 2020, I started that business alongside the other business that I had a partnership in.
Okay.
And immediately realized the scalability difference. It was infinitely more, scalable. Right. And so that was in 2020. And so this year we'll do a little over $8 million in patios in Denver. And
you get to sleep at night.
I get to take vacations with my family. Yeah.
You don't have as many change orders.
No.
Because it's interesting. And I'm not saying it's not emotional to do a deck or a patio. Mm-hmm. But the chances of changing the granite counter and the color of the cabinet 7 times in a project like that doesn't exist.
Or ordering, a cabinet wrong and it's, half an inch too long, and then you got to wait 3 weeks to get the replacement, right?
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, it was a nightmare. And you're right. I used to tell people at the beginning of kitchen projects, listen, by the end of this, you're going to hate me.
Yeah, exactly.
I
You're
would just,
setting up
I
the true, hey, I want a five
sure.
star review, but I might earn a one.
Yeah, right. I'm like, you're gonna hate me. Let me explain all the reasons why.
Yeah.
Because you're in the heart of their house. And what I say about patios is there are no concrete emergencies.
Yeah.
Nobody calls you at 2 a.m. because water's dripping on their head because of the concrete patio
Oh
you
my
built.
Lord. To be completely displaced out of your home because you're ripping up the floor in the kitchen. Tiff and I
Mhm.
had to do that in Florida.
Yeah, I
We
remember
lived in
that.
an Airbnb. We came back. It still wasn't done. We were making dog food in the garage because we make the rice, the vegetable,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the flies were. We will
Oh my.
never forget. We will never forget the terror that we went through on the kitchen and bath remodel in Florida. However, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't have been able to ROI and make what we made to sell that house. So it
Sure.
had to be done. But man, we had a nightmare of the install. The lines didn't show up where they did the granite cuts. They put the waterfall on backward on the island. It was an absolute nightmare.
I remember that. I remember you having the challenges with it, which is
Yeah,
funny because, right,
the
because
flooring
you're
guy,
familiar with the contracting business.
the flooring guy stained our he stained our driveway, our
Oh
paver,
yeah,
because
yeah,
he just didn't come and rinse the cement or the grout off, and it
yeah.
stained it all. So I had to give the guy, and I hate doing this. I had to give him a 1 star review just to get him to come over to fix it, and it took months to do it. And then I eventually gave him a 3 star review. I was like, okay, well, this is fair.
Yeah.
At least you came. His guys came over with Coca-Cola and
Oh,
scrubby brushes,
sure.
and
Well, I
man,
realized
yeah,
I realized that all of those problems that are inherent with those sorts of projects
yeah.
really didn't exist in the patio business. And so what I did is I sat down and I said, okay, I'm going to do some research on this segment of our business. And I realized there was a tremendous opportunity to differentiate ourselves as it related to the level of professionalism people would expect. And 95% plus of our reviews are 5 stars. Quite honestly, the reviews we get that aren't are people that didn't even use us. They didn't like the presentation. They didn't like our contest we ran. They didn't like the rules of
Right.
the contest, whatever. But the reality is, listen, it has given me my life back.
Good for you.
And we'll build right at 500 projects this year. We only have 3 people in the office.
Amazing. So contractors listening to this, and it's such a cliche, but listen up. Listen to Marty's true story. He just told it. Riches are in the niches. And riches
Yep.
meaning it's not necessarily always about the money. It's in the fact that Marty got his time back, that he can enjoy with his family now to do things, less headaches, less stack of paperwork, a controllable business, a focused business. It's hard if you do 7 different things to do
Yeah.
them all at 100% really well.
You
So
got it.
I guess breaking out the patio side of what you did, and now, look, I've been to your website, man. It's sick. It's like, it's an amazing educational experience, and kind of, he would be like, geez, I can't believe that it's emotional. You can really go to the Denver Patio Masters website and go, wow, this guy just does this. So what goes into a patio? Is it just the deck, or is it the buildings around? Like, what is
Well,
a
let's you and I talk about that. It is specifically not the deck. Are you listening to me, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office? I say that
I
because when
call
I
anything flat that, by the way. I'm
well,
sorry,
yeah, no,
because
I hear you.
we
And that was the
finance
challenge.
so much stuff that I call the flat part outside. I call it that word.
Well, we're growing.
Yeah.
When I say that, we're going to expand into other states, and so I own the trademark for Patio Masters.
Patio Masters.
You
So
got it.
patio is an outdoor living space where you get to do a few things. Show off.
Well, it is absolutely that, and but the Patent and Trademark Office didn't want to grant us exclusive rights to that name because of the fear that someone would confuse it with Deck Masters. and somebody already owned Deck Masters.
Oh yeah.
We really, although we occasionally build them, we really focus on concrete patios,
Okay,
room
concrete
finish,
patio.
stamp. Yeah, and then kind of what I'll call your outdoor entertaining space. We build
Oh,
outdoor living areas.
beautiful. Okay.
And so that could include patios, masonry walls, outdoor kitchens, fire pits, fireplaces, patio covers, pergolas, other associated landscape work, turf sod, a hardscape. So we really do a little bit of everything because I said to myself, the bottleneck in all of these kitchens, baths, basements, room additions is the engineering and permit processes. The bottleneck on this stuff is that if you didn't have to get engineering and permits and inspections and all that, you could blow through them pretty quick,
Wow.
right? I mean, you
Yeah,
could do a bunch
yeah.
of shitty work if you
Because
didn't have to
you're
inspect it.
exterior, so you don't have to worry about loads and
Yeah, correct.
wow.
And so I when I set out to build this business, when I was dialing in the model, I said, we're just going to avoid that. And of
Yep.
course, the very first appointment I ran under the brand, they said, well, we want to do a patio and we want a patio cover and we want the same company to do both.
Okay.
And I said, damn it. Okay, I'll do it. And so about 80% of our business is just concrete work.
Okay,
The
cool. I
other
love it.
20% is all the other associated stuff. But what we do, honestly, is we provide an industry leading experience in our niche. We're
That's
more, we show up, we book appointments, we confirm appointments, we're responsive, we show up on time, we're wearing logoed clothing, we give them a professional presentation, and we offer financing.
Oh.
Imagine that. Now, because you and I have worked together for a long time, I'm a big proponent of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has become, Chris, so before we hopped on this call, I took a quick look. I think you're aware because I commented on one of your postings that it has become critically important in the last 12 months.
Crazy. It's jumped.
Because if you look at our numbers from 2020 to 2024, 25% of our business was financed. 75% they paid for out of their pocket somehow.
Oh,
Now we know how they pay for that. They were, they have a little money in the bank. They got credit cards. They got equity.
yeah, yeah.
Equity, right?
Yeah.
Well, that has disappeared, right? Why? Interest rates have gone up, and because interest rates have gone up, people can't refinance. House prices aren't going up at 20% per year, so they don't have the equity to pull out and pay off their debts every couple of years.
Yeah.
Because of that, their debt to income ratios and their credit utilization is up, which means their credit scores are down.
Yeah.
This hit me in 2024 because in early 2024, coming late 23 to early 2024, we had more credit turn downs. Let's pick 2024. We had more credit turn downs in 2024 than the 3 years leading up to that.
See, you saw it coming because you've always offered it.
Yeah.
So you actually have the data to tell these guys that have never offered, like, what?
Yeah, you listen, my belief. If you're a contractor and you're not offering a finance program, it's because you hate money. Right?
Yeah.
It's because you hate money, or you just got such a backwards thought process around it.
Or they got hooked up with the wrong type of a platform, maybe where they had a really bad experience, and then they judge all lending solutions to that particular platform.
Wait, I'm guilty.
Yeah. I mean, it happens.
When I first offered financing, we tried Hearth.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I was sitting in the house of the director of oncology for Children's Cancer Hospital. This guy lived in a $3 million house. The guy had a 750 credit score. He pulls up his little credit thing and shows. Now I realize you don't always know what FICO model, those credit card scores are using, but still it's 750. It was a $40,000 or $50,000 project, and they approved him for $13,000 at like 17% interest.
Yeah.
He's like, hell no, I'm not doing that.
So think about it. And we're not throwing shade, but we are. We're telling people the truth right now. That's what this TubeCast is all about. They have 15,000 contractors on their platform that have no idea that they could be offering that 750 guy a 690, a 790, a 99.
Yeah.
A reasonable interest rate in a term up to 20 years so the consumer can decide what they want, or even like a 12-month same as cash. these poor guys that just get suckered into these platforms that don't know what they don't know. But here's the problem. Because they have a bad experience and nobody takes the loan, they then associate all finance institutions that they're all the same and they're all bad people.
It's like going to a restaurant and getting a bad meal and saying all restaurants suck.
I mean, and like, look at, we put it this way, we don't compete, we collaborate. So there's great lenders out there, and I'll name them because I'm not scared to tell the truth. There's Service Finance, where I used to be a senior vice president. There's Green Sky. There's Wells Fargo. There's Synchrony. There's real lenders out there that are great lenders that we collaborate with Improvifi. Like, they'll use them and they'll use us for particular reasons. And because of us collaborating with real lenders, we're helping the contractors close more because they have more than just one damn shot with one lender. So if they do love Service Finance or Green Sky or Wells Fargo and Synchrony, and they use Improvifi, we may be picking up 20 to 25% more because I'll buy down to a 575. Or they'll use my HELOC program, my secured loan that I have with a soft credit pull at the point of sale with no dealer fees up to $400,000 for the customer, Marty, that wants to use the equity in their house because they've got 5 trades guys coming in. So
that's the thing, right? The thing is having options. And so to finish the tail end of that statement, this year I looked, I had commented on your post maybe a month or two ago, and I looked again at this past month. We put 21 jobs under contract this month. 75 of them are not financed. So what's that? 23-ish% are not financed. So it is totally reversed. It went from 25% are using financing to now 75% are using it. Imagine where I would be doing today, 75% less business if I didn't have financing.
If you didn't have solutions. Dude, that's amazing. Yeah, man, I love it.
And so, you said earlier, you were talking about how it gave me back, that time with my family and my life. This is the truth. So for contractors out there, if you're not leveraging every tool you have available, you are stealing time away from your family, right? Because all of these tools, technology, financing, developing a solid set of SOPs, all of the stuff you see, figuring out how to let AI help you. We got an AI follow-up software we use. This thing, man, I'll tell you what, this thing finds deals for us for customers that talked to us 4 years ago.
Oh, but wait, hold on. I'm a contractor. I don't ever want to use AI.
Yeah, sure, right. And again, that's because you want to work 90 hours a week and get paid half what you should get paid. But I'll tell you, it really, I can't state, how passionate I am about offering financing at the point of sale. I teach all my sales reps. Listen, I don't care if the guy brings out a wad of cash, sets it on the table, and says, "This is what I'm paying with." You treat him like he's a finance customer. Because that money he just sat on the table is half of what it's going to cost to do the job.
So how many times, this always interests me, do your customers go and look in a magazine, fall in love with a patio, and your sales pros, your consultants show up, and they're like, this is going to be like 10 grand. And your sales pros are like, oh my Lord, we have to educate this person, right? And then they go, well, geez, it's really 43. And then the customer's like, well, we can only really afford 10, right? So I think, to your point, by making a finance offer with whoever your lender is, whether it's Improvifi or not, and that customer all of a sudden gets approved to 50, and they go, wow, it's only $397 a month. It's cheaper than our car payment. Maybe, just maybe, they will end up with that dream patio and do it on a monthly basis with no prepay. So,
we just had a $60,000 job, Chris. My sales rep, Logan, had a $60,000 job that is now $111,000 job. And the reason is they had 11 grand to give him down, and they got approved for 100 grand in financing.
Oh, my Lord.
And they said, well, let's not just do this. Let's do this and this and this and this and this. Let's do 100 grand of extra work. So that was, literally, it's the exact example you just gave. They had a certain amount of money available. And we said, paraphrasing it, well, that'd make a great down payment, And then we said, let's see what we can get you approved for.
I love it.
100 grand. Now, let me ask you a question. Where in the hell can a consumer go get $100,000 unsecured line of credit at 9.9% interest. Yeah, right. Where might they find that? Right?
Geez, I don't know. Maybe
Chris
from
Scoville
your
and Improvifi.
maybe.
Yeah, they couldn't go to their bank today
Yeah.
and get an equity loan for that.
Yeah,
Right?
we've got the unsecured to 150, which is cool for
Yep.
people that we also have two new solutions to $400,000, and the rates start at 6.90 and go to 30-year term with no prepay
Okay.
and no dealer fee. So, to your point, Marty, you said
Well,
show up, give them options, and let them decide how the hell to buy.
yeah. And you get I can't tell you how many times over the years, Chris, we do well at this point it's $6 million of our business this year will be financed.
Unbelievable,
Um
man.
and so that's $600,000 of my income I wouldn't receive, right? I mean, that's the
You're
reality.
literally you're a walking like white paper and use case study case for us. But the thing is that Marty, you came from the finance space. So doesn't that give you an advantage?
No, because I don't have to know. My sales reps have no, they don't know jack shit about financing, right? They
They
only
just
know
know
what
to
I tell them.
scan the QR code and
Yeah,
high
yeah,
five them when they get approved.
they know, they call me from the appointment asking me what loan program they should choose for the
It's,
customer. So they
that's
don't
kind
know
of
anything
cool
about, but
though.
you
I
don't
mean,
need to.
yeah,
All you need to be able to do.
but doesn't that also establish the fact that Denver Patio Masters has a consumer credit center and it gives you guys authority at the point of sale. And they could be like, well, wait a minute. The other person that came hired didn't have a consumer credit center. You guys actually have somebody in the office that gives you advice on which lender to go to?
Listen, we hear frequently. I just had a customer say to his sales rep, he apologized to his sales rep. Hey, I'm sorry if I've been. This is a project we're in the middle of building.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me. And the customer said to the sales rep, he said, I'm sorry if I've been difficult, but in the past, if I've had an issue with the contractor,
Yeah.
I've always had to go to war. He's like, I've never worked with a company where I felt everybody from the owner down to my sales rep was focused on me being happy. And it is part of that package.
Yeah.
And what we do, so here's my description. Do me a favor. Name two or three of the most rich people, the richest people in the world. Name them real quick.
Jeff Bezos,
Stop right there. You
George,
already said Jeff Bezos. All
okay,
right. Jeff Bezos, what's he famous for?
providing people to things online to buy whatever the hell they need and it shows up
Yeah,
the next
you
day.
can shop for shit in your underwear.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Ease,
All right.
ease.
So
Click a button and it's here. Like what? Sometimes the
Jeff
same day.
Jeff Bezos became one of the richest men in the world by mastering the one call close. Right?
Yeah.
Think about it. If you and I wanted to buy, a toaster in the past, we had to go to the store, look at the toasters, go to another store, look at those toasters, compare them, decide, or a
Montgomery
stereo.
Wards or Sears.
Yeah, right. Sure. Holy cow. Those are the Montgomery Ward.
Dude,
Anyway,
you and I are old, man.
yeah, we are. So we had to go. We had to make it was an event. We had to go out and search out this information. And what he did is he said, I'll bring you all the information, right? I'll bring you the information. I'll show you how it compares star ratings with other comparable products, right?
Yes.
I'll
yes.
show you what other people have bought, right? If you like this toaster, let me show you what things other people have bought along with this toaster, upsells, right? And if you want to buy it right now, there's a buy now button.
Oh,
One
imagine
call
that. And
close.
and even better, you could do it for 4 equal
Yeah,
payments. It's funny enough.
and now if you want to finance it, 4 equal payments through Klarna or whatever, right?
Buy
Yeah.
now, pay later.
Think about it, Chris. All we are is we're the Amazon of outdoor living spaces.
I love it, man.
We show up to the house.
Yep.
We bring all the information to you. We educate you, right? We
Yeah.
show you patios you fall in love with. We show you how we compare with other people who build patios, right?
Yes.
We say if you want it right now, you can just click the buy now button and you can finance it.
Wow.
It is literally it made Jeff Bezos one of the richest people in the world, but well, I don't want people to be in their underwear when we show up. But anyway, that'd be weird. But anyway, you can buy a patio in your underwear if you want from your house. You
I
don't
love
have
it, man.
to do.
You get it, Marty, man. I love it.
Well, it's not. Listen, you and I both know. You don't have to be brilliant to be successful in business. What you have to do is you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
to what other people are doing successfully and figure out what nuggets you can take and apply to your business. And it's you don't look for what's different, you look
Yeah.
for what's the same,
Yeah.
right? And so often that's the problem contractors have, isn't it? Well, that wouldn't work in my business. AI ain't got no place in my business. You're never going to see AI using a drill, yeah, but you're missing the point. And so I think because I am not from the trade side.
Yeah.
I'm not, listen, I don't know how to build a patio,
Yeah.
right? I tell my customers, honestly, not that I run sales appointments anymore, but when I used to run sales appointments, I'd say, if I show up with my tools, you need to ask for your money back.
We got a problem, man.
Because something went wrong. But I tell them that's exactly why you're hiring me,
Yeah.
because I come from the business side of this business.
Yep.
I come from the side that makes sure there's going to be long-term,
Customer experience side.
there's going to be a
Lifetime
long-term
value, 5-star
accountability.
lifetime value of a customer, 5-star review, referrals, reviews, rewards, retention. You
Yeah.
want them to be so happy with the patio that they recommend you everybody at church, work, and school because you've increased the value of their home by putting this beautiful outdoor living dream in the back of their house, man.
And then you stand behind it. I was at a house the other day where the patio project didn't turn out the way it was supposed to, and I told him, I said, all right, well, we're going to tear it out and start over. I mean, I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's what we're going to do.
Oh, and guess
Um,
what? We didn't impact their life.
the reality of it is this: nobody wants to hear that. But when I show up and I say I tell people you think you hired the right company if everything goes right. You find out if you hire the right company if things go wrong.
I love it.
What do they do? And I'll tell you, I tell people, all my employees, I will tear that thing out and redo it instead of get a 3-star review. I don't care. I don't want you can't be perfect all the time. So every once in a while you may get a 4-star, right?
Yeah.
It's like the person who goes to a restaurant and says, the food was amazing, the service was impeccable, this was great and that was great and the other thing was great, but the air conditioning was too cold, 4 stars. I'm like, well, you didn't go to the restaurant because of the air conditioning, you went because of the food. But we're not going to be perfect. But I'll tell you what, I'm not getting a 3-star review. I'll tear that patio out and I'll start over, because that's the commitment we make to the customers. And when I did my homework developing this business plan,
Yeah.
it was specifically to provide an industry leading experience to a niche that was so fragmented,
Yeah.
right? It's just about every other company. There's a couple of decent sized players, but just about every other company is a mom and pop operation
Yeah.
where the guy who comes out to give you a quote pulls up in a dirty concrete truck and his clothes are covered with concrete and his truck leaks oil in your driveway while he's there, and he goes out back and he takes some measurements and he says he'll get back to you with a bid, and you never hear from him again.
Yeah. I love it, man.
So we found the niche that, like you said, the riches are in the niches. It was much easy, way fewer moving parts, much easier to provide exemplary service. It gave me back my family, which I'll hit on, because I know there's a lot of contractors that suffer from this. My wife, for the first I don't know, 7 years that we had kids, told me she felt like a single mom, because
Yeah.
I was always either building somebody else's business or building mine.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, yeah, but right now I've got to commit. This is the time where I got to put in the work. And I said, when the kids start to notice,
Yeah.
that's when I'll have to figure something out,
Yep. Yeah.
And I remember my daughter, who's now 13, was 7. And she said to me, she said, my wife and my daughters would take vacations. I just couldn't go, because I had to stay at work. And she asked me, she said, our dad, are you going to go to Mimi and Papa's with us? And I said, well, sweetie, I can't. And
Oh,
she's like, you can never go on vacation, And
heartbreaking.
listen, it got worse. I said, well, listen, do you like all those toys you have? And she said, yeah. I said, you like all that milk you drink? She said, yeah. I said, you like the house you live in? She said, yeah. I said, well, Dad's got to pay for that stuff. And the way he does it is through work. Here's what she said, Chris. This to me was so eye-opening. She said, I'd rather not have a house if you could go on vacation. And that was like, hang on a minute. Looks like my lights were on the timer. Here we go. She she literally stabbed me in the heart, Chris. Stabbed me in the heart with that. And I thought, oh God, I got to make a change. And so that was when I began to really focus on those options. And honestly, quite honestly, God delivered it to me
Yeah,
in the
man.
phone, in that phone call where that person had, because I literally was trying to figure out how am I going to make this work. I was working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I wasn't making what I should be making because production was a mess. We were, over budget on everything. It was just terrible. And then God rings that phone, ring, ring. Hey,
He
you
gets you
sold me a
right.
patio. You
He
sold me a
gets you.
patio, and I haven't heard from anybody. And I was like, it was literally right in front of me.
I love
And
it.
so I think as contractors, and you've heard this story a million times, right? You know, you get into the business and you think, whew, I'm going to make a bunch of money, and then you don't have systems, you don't have processes, you're just winging it. You're not taking advantage of all the tools you have available, like technology, CRMs. You're not employing the right marketing. You're not spending money on marketing. You're not offering financing. You're not doing the things you could do to make your life better. And so what I did is I said, in this business, I'm not going to screw that stuff up. I am going to implement, implement, implement.
I love
And
it.
of course, financing is a huge
Dude,
part of that.
we got to wrap up because this is a short one. But
Yeah.
man, oh my gosh, all the guys that I've done TubeCast for are going to be a little pissed at me for saying this, but I don't care. Dude, this was the most impactful, thoughtful TubeCast I've done to date.
Well,
I
listen,
think
I
if
appreciate that.
anybody that's listening to this, rewind it, listen to it again, implement, and take action
You,
because
you can't sit.
Marty
Yeah.
dropped some serious purpose bombs in here on get focused on your business for the right priorities, get your time back. If you're doing too much and too many, stop it. Find that one thing that you can be that massive, awesome industry leader in, man.
Differentiate yourself, figure out a niche, and
Yeah.
figure out how to overserve that niche. And I'll tell you, it took me, Chris, from not being able to take vacations, with my 7-year-old, to taking 3 months a year of vacations,
Yeah.
and it literally gave me my life back. And again, I know, your business model is around lending and providing financial options. I can't stress enough right now how important that is in today's economic market. If you are not offering that, and again, my business is a perfect, is a perfect example of that, because 75% of
It's
our customers are utilizing financing.
amazing.
it's
I love
it's
it.
it's it's off the charts to me, and so I'm so thankful, Chris, for the relationship with you. I always tell people, if they ask me about it, or if I see somebody post about it, you're the only name I give them, and it's because you serve with your heart, and you're not. I don't want to say you're not in it for the money, because we all have to work for the money, but you're in it for the purpose,
Yeah,
right? You are
it
in
is,
it
man.
because you're driven to serve, and anybody who works with you immediately picks up on that.
Yeah, man.
And so it's been my pleasure to talk to you. I mean, when can you get two such glorious bald domes in the same on the same screen, for the benefit of all those hardworking contractors out there, Chris?
Amazing, dude. Marty, I love you, brother. And
I love you, Chris.
thank you so much for sharing your story. This is it, man. This is building on purpose. Contractors, I'll put some information below. If anybody, Marty gets to take off the winter months because he's up in Denver. So maybe, they can, if anybody's struggling out there, Marty's a good guy. He's probably willing to peel off a couple minutes to ever offer some advice. Yeah, we'll put your information below. Hey, and any consumers that are in the Denver
Yeah.
greater metro area that are looking for a patio,
Denver
I'll put
Patio
it.
Masters.
Denver Patio Masters.
That's who you get in touch with.
I'll put their
Yeah.
link below. And apparently, I've heard a couple times that they offer financing and payment solutions. So reach
They
out to
might. They might.
Marty.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you so much.
Hey, Chris, always listen. I love you. I love your family. I'm glad everything's going so well for you. And anytime you want to hop back on, I'm happy to do it.
All right, man. I appreciate you, Marty.
All
Be
right.
well, brother. We'll
Have
see
a
you.
great day, brother. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.